Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on Sunshine Reports on Osrc Television. I am Obi Chukwemeka Uti. As part of efforts to accelerate development of people at the grassroots, the Ondo State Executive Council has announced the creation of 33 local government development areas, LCDAs. Commissioner for Information and Orientation Bamidele Ademola Olateju made the disclosure at a briefing shortly after the State Executive Council meeting held at the Council Chamber of the Governor's Office in Akure. The Ondo State House of Assembly has constituted standing committees in order to ensure sanctity and proper transparency, accountability and due process in government business. While announcing the members of the committee, Speaker Olamide Oladiji charged them to see the position as an opportunity to serve the state and to improve the well-being of the common man. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshilela Desoyajayi now reports.
Part of the constitutional responsibility of the House of Assembly is to perform oversight functions on ministries, departments and agencies of government as entrenched in Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. It is in line with this that the House put in place standing committees as part of measures to enhance the functionality of the Assembly. Not less than 33 standing committees were set up during the plenary, presided over by the Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, to carry out oversight functions on all ministries, departments and agencies of government with a view to ensuring sanctity in government business. The Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, who noted that the move is to strengthen the economic capacity of the state by contributing to a strong drive of its internal generated revenue, charged members of each committee to give it all seriousness it deserves in order to achieve the set goal.
Each committee chairman and members have the constitutional right to oversee and scrutinize funds appropriated to MDAs to ensure strict compliance and are so appropriate. All MDAs must cooperate with the respective standing committee in the discharge of their duty. In all decisions of the committee, the overall interest of the citizen and the good governor must be prioritized.
Some of the committees are Selection Committee, headed by the Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, Allocation and Welfare, with its chairman as the Deputy Speaker, Prince Abayomi Akinrutan. Rules and Business, led by the Majority Leader, Oluwole Ogunmolashoye. Others are committees on Government House and Protocol, chaired by the Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, Finance and Appropriation, chaired by the Majority Leader, Oluwole Ogunmolashoye. Works, headed by the Parliamentary Secretary, Moyolorun Ogunwumiju. The Committee on Nosopadek is headed by Allen Oluwatoyin. Committee on Information is chaired by Olatunji Oshati. Youth and Sports Development, Olajide Oguntodu. House Committee on Health is headed by Dr. Christopher Ogunlano. Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs is to be chaired by Japhet Oluwatoyin. Science and Education is chaired by Kolawole Ologede. Tertiary Institution is headed by Chris Adebusua. Lands and Housing chaired by Biola Oladapo. House Committee on Agriculture Atinuke Witherspoon. While Security, Culture and Community Development is chaired by Ololade Begudu, among others. Mr. Speaker! Omoshilela Adesoyajayi, Osrc News.
For Nigeria to achieve food security, sufficiency, President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly must work together to reduce the cost of farming. A group of agribusiness stakeholders in Ondo State at a press conference in Akure identified the decentralization of operational structure of federal agencies involved in agriculture sector, addressing issues of security of rural dwellers as key to changing the narrative for improved productivity from farmers. Osrc Zaida Ribisala has more.
Going by available indices, Nigeria, a country of over 200 million people, blessed with vast arable land, continues to struggle in production of food to meet internal and external demands. Nigeria's President, Bola Tinubu, weeks into his tenure, declared a state of emergency on food security, perhaps an indication of his commitment to improving the agricultural sector. For the group of agribusiness stakeholders in Ondo State, drawn from livestock and crop commodity productions, is providing recommendations for the president to act on for success. An agribusiness expert and senior special assistant to Ondo State Governor, Mr. Akinolotu, who spoke on behalf of the group, said, among other things, decisive steps must be taken to improve security for farmers and rural dwellers.
In most states of the Federation, if not all, farmers and their farms are largely unsecured or insecure. It is good Mr. President has declared a state of emergency in the agricultural sector. He should go ahead to effect a new security architectural design that will allow each local government or state to secure farms and farmers in the country. Mr. President, sir, famine is looming in Nigeria. It is that serious because this thing is underreported. A lot of rural dwellers are still living and you need to interact. Thank God for Amotekun in Ondo State.
Olotu highlighted the need for farmer-friendly loan schemes, decentralization of operational structure at federal agencies in the agri sector, and reduction in cost of farming.
Interest rate on farming loan must be maximum 4% for credible and proven indigenous investors. Import duties must go. Local government or a revised D-free. It is impossible to make profit or even break even with the present situation. Cost of rural transportation is killing. This is compounded by poor access to roads to farming communities.
The group also identified the need to revisit the school feeding program, development of a 10-year master plan for agribusiness in Nigeria, as well as a mandate to all local government to work on strategic rural roads as essential for success.
School feeding is a palliative measure that will penetrate homes across the country, and we are recommending it. Procurement and sales of rugged tricycles with trailers to farmers at an affordable cost, with repayment spread over a period of time. This will reduce cost of transportation to and fro farm and movement of goods and farm produce.
The stakeholders anchored their call on the urgent need for the President and the National Assembly to swing into action immediately, with an optimism that the agricultural sector can be transformed in 12 to 24 months. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
To education now, the results of the 2023 Common Entrance Examination, also known as Placement Examination into Public Secondary Schools in Ondo State, has been released. A statement from the Office of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Mrs. Folashade Adegoke, said parents and guardians can now check the results of their children and wards at the ministry's examination portal. She added that the concerned individuals are to log on to odsgexams.com. Using their registration PIN, click Common Entrance Examination 2023 and then click the Check Results option. In the meantime, Nigerians have continued to react to the call for a bill to prompt Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB) to increase the validity period of its Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) results. Those who lent their voices in Akure, the Ondo State capital, came up with divergent opinions on the matter. Omoriola Ubenji has detail.
Over the years, millions of Nigerians have sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination to gain admission into higher institutions of learning, after which the results will become useless if no admission was secured. In 2016, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB) contemplated extending the validity period of its UTME results to 3 years, an idea which has never seen the light of day. Recently, a lawmaker representing Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency, Akintunde Rotimi, tabled the bill at the 10th Assembly, expressing concern that the UTME result is valid for just 1 year and stressing that it is worrisome that the result becomes useless for candidates who cannot secure admission into any tertiary institution of their choice in the concerned academic year. The bill, which has now scaled through the second reading at the Green Chamber, wants JAMB to have a rethink so as to meet the global standard.
Prayers that I have on this motion is number one, to urge the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board to rethink and allow its results to be valid for 3 years.
Reacting, an educationist, Stephen Ojo, frowned at the decision, insisting that all stakeholders must sit and put other levels in the education sector into consideration before embarking on any policy.
If not because the economy is so bad, and unfortunately the way I put it is that our government don't seem to have much time and emphasis on education. There's no need for it. By the time you do it 3 years, what is WAEC doing? What will NECO be doing? What is GSS3? Primary 6, what will they be doing? Those are the stakeholders on that line. Call them, plan together. By the time you plan 3 years for JAMB at the top, that is the highest level of education in Nigeria. What happens to primary 6? Are you going to plan for 3 years? WAEC, 3 years. GSS 3 years. GSS2, 3 years. That's why I said, allow all the stakeholders to meet. Sit down together. What are we going to do? Not JAMB alone.
In the same vein, Chairman, Academic Staff of Junior Secondary Schools, Ondo State Chapter, Tajuddin Balogun, believes in the yearly conducted of UTME, saying, until government makes concrete decisions that will improve the education sector, no policy will work.
They are just trying to make policies that are not realistic and and in some cases to favor some particular group. If JAMB is done once a year, it is enough. Is it you want to do it twice a year in a system where lecturers will go on strike, government will not be too serious in attending to their issues? We're in a country where the last 8 months, students were at home. Then if you now do the JAMB and give them admission, where are they going to be admitted into? The facilities are not. My suggestion now is that it should still remain at once a year, and whoever gains admission that particular year and refuses to use it should lose it.
However, a parent, Ali Monebi, threw his weight behind the National Assembly bill and said the risk associated with the annual exercise is enormous.
I believe it's one of the bills that should gladden the hearts of every parent. In the first place, the bill doesn't contradict the extant law of JAMB, and secondly, it will save the parents of having to register their awards every year.
As it stands, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, said an ad hoc committee would be constituted to interface with the Federal Ministry of Education to ensure compliance. Omoriola Ngbeji, Osrc News.
Lynching, also known as jungle justice, is an abhorrent act of violence and hate which continues to plague our society, necessitating a robust legal framework to address. Hence, Nigeria must take a united stand against this inhumane act and ensure the general public is better sensitized and the act criminalized. A public commentator, Ayo Akinwunmi, made the statement appealing for urgent action and passing comprehensive anti-lynching legislation to prevent the heinous crime. According to Mr. Akinwunmi, an anti-lynching law would provide a clear legal definition of the crime, helping law enforcement agencies to accurately identify and prosecute perpetrators, as well as act as a strong deterrent against potential offenders. Akinwumi posited that following much-needed legislation, deterring and preventing acts of jungle justice will begin to heal the wounds of the past and foster a society built on respect for humanity and due process. He added that passing the legislation will demonstrate a commitment of the National Assembly to address historical injustices and take proactive steps to rectify them, noting that the legislation would reaffirm government's commitment to upholding fundamental human rights, inspiring hope and change at home and abroad. Away from education, the House of Representatives has directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the Federal Ministry of Disaster Management and Social Development to provide relief materials to victims and families who lost valuables in the tanka explosion that occurred in Osrc, Odigbo local government area of Ondo State. The House of Representatives also made a strong case for the training and retraining of petrol tanker drivers on immediate safety precautions with a view to forestalling further loss of lives on Nigerian highway. The decision was reached after the lawmaker representing Ile-Oluji, Okegbo and Odigbo Federal Constituency, Festus Adefironye, made the motion and regretted that lives were lost and property worth millions of naira destroyed in the Sunday, July 23 tanker explosion, while urging the Nigerian Police, the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, and other relevant security agencies to clear the highway of indiscriminate parking of petrol tankers. The Green Chambers also said an ad hoc committee will be constituted to investigate the incident with a view to preventing a reoccurrence. The 2023 edition of the Be More Summer Boot Camp is set to hold from August 13th to August 26, 2023. The Be More Empowered Girls Foundation, in a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media to the wife of the Governor, Oluwatobi Fademi, said the event will take place at Marbest Academy, Okejebu, Akure. The Be More Summer Boot Camp empowers young girls with essential skills and knowledge in various fields, including technology, entrepreneurship, leadership and personal development. Founded by wife of Ondo State Governor Mrs. Betty Anyanwa Keredolu, the summer boot camp is open to female participants in secondary school between the ages of 12 and 18. According to the statement, the registration for the 2023 edition of the Be More Summer Boot Camp is now open, and interested individuals are encouraged to secure their spots as limited spaces are available. Finally, the monthly sanitation exercise for the month of July holds in Ondo State tomorrow. In a statement by the General Manager, Ondo State Waste Management Authority, Mr. Adefola Omowole, there will be restriction of human and vehicular movement between the hours of 7 and 10 in the morning. Mr. Omowole, who implored residents of the state to use the period to clean their surroundings, said violators will face the full wrath of the law. He assured the people of better days ahead towards making the state cleaner and better for all. And that's it on Sunshine Report. Thank you for your time. Good afternoon.